Stock of the day. Thought we'd take a look at Telstra. Bit of a shock today because Andy Penn, the boss of Telstra, retiring as chief executive after more than 7 years in the role. Current CFO, so Andy Penn's 2IC at Telstra, Vicky Brady, will be Penn's successor come September this year. We also heard in the budget last night, Telstra will bear the lion's share of the $812 million fix for mobile black spots. Shares dipping a little bit into the red today. Henry, change. Andy Penn has Telstra's redeemed itself over the last couple of years. He's actually had this reorganisation plan that's delivered, and investors have come swamping back into Telstra.
He has. I mean, he's been there 7 years. I kind of thought he'd be around for a little bit longer, I've got to say,
Right.
Koshi.
Yep.
T22, you'd think he'd go, T25 and be around at least to see 22 out of the way. Well, I guess September he will be.
Yep.
He has done a pretty good job. I always call him the tech man in a cardie because Telstra has this daggy image, and Andy doesn't really do the whole Mark Zuckerberg T-shirt look or whatever as a tech icon. Yep. But he has done a pretty good job. I guess what's interesting is the market reaction to this was really, ho-hum, down a cent. If you're the CEO leaving after 7 years, maybe you want to see it down a bit more so that people think, oh my God, it's all going to change. And if you're the incoming person, you want to see it up a bit because that's a vote of confidence in you. So the fact that it's down 1 cent, I guess, is telling you something. They are going to get a bit of a lift from the budget, obviously, so that's going to help. But Andy Penn, I guess he's built on David Thodey's legacy. We went through the whole Sol Trujillo experience where he managed to antagonise the government at every available opportunity.
Experience is one way of describing
the
it.
Sol experience, definitely. And then we had David Thodey, who then built on, Sol at least built a great technology platform for Thodey to work on, rebuild those government relations. And Andy has really, I guess he's transformed Telstra into, from a tech with Cardi to maybe a little bit more techie. In some respects, he's simplified the product range. I think there was something like 1,800 different product lines down to 20. He's made it a far more friendly kind of company. The ads are good. It's all about Australia. So I think he's done a pretty good job. It's a shame that he's not going to see it through to the end, but I guess there is no real end in technology. So all up, I guess a tick, and the fact that it hasn't gone up or gone down means that we're looking at safe hands with Vicky Brady, who was the CFO, now going to be the CEO from September. So,
See, Telstra didn't ever deliver for years, did it? And that was the great disappointment. It just killed a lot of shareholders. Andy Penn set a reorganisation plan, delivered on it, and rationalised the whole thing into something hopefully a bit more nimble, a bit more flexible in the tech world.
I think so, I think, they've even got some, tech incubation kind of investments happening as well. There's the separation of towers and all that sort of thing. He was always given, I suspect, a bit of a hospital pass by David Thodey because that was the whole NBN problem with the copper wires and the fact that they were losing access to that and they were going to be compensated, but that was over a period of time. So, the market had to look through that valley. It has done. When you're looking for defensive Australian focus stocks with pricing power to some extent, because, God, we all need technology. We all need our Telstra things. This one does tick a lot of boxes. So,
okay, so are you interested in this?
I think
price
so.
at 390?
I think so, they did top out around 430, 440 earlier in the year. So there's clearly some upside there. It's a matter of selling the story, a matter of getting comfortable with Vicky Brady. It has been Andy Penn for so long, 7 years, that really and truly, it's going to be a bit of an adjustment, I guess. But in this kind of market, people looking for inflation hedges with pricing power, domesticated focus as well, so that you don't have to worry about the $8 and all the political and geopolitical things that are happening at the moment. It's probably not a bad place to be for investors, and it's got that yield, of course.
All right. And so a yes from you for Telstra?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, why not?
All right. Good. Stock of the day: Telstra. Andy Penn stepping down, CFO stepping up. Vicky, what do you think of the announcement and Telstra's share price at the moment?
I guess probably makes sense, isn't it? Obviously, the big T22 restructure it's pretty much done. So I think Andy Penn's probably thinking his job's done and it's time to hand over for the next phase of Telstra's story, whatever that might be. Fingers crossed it has turned the corner. I mean, the last few reports, it seems to be on the up and up. Valuation's not terrible for us. I think there's probably 5 or 6% upside in it from our fair value target. And the chart's, not awful is probably the way I'd look at it. So, long story short, I think if you've got Telstra, you can hang on to it. If you don't have it, there's just so much other better stuff out there probably to buy. But it will suit, it'll suit your defensive investor, your yield investor, but not your growth investor like me.